Me, I started under a rock. Shannon's sofa.
All I got was a rock.
I got a rock.
I got a chocolate bar. I got a quarter. I got a rock.
Technical question. How much better does an 8-yard kilt hang over a 5-yard kilt?
How much better does an 8-yard kilt hang than a 5-yard kilt? It depends almost as much on the weight of the material as it does on the yardage of the kilt. There's kind of a sliding scale, if you will. An 8-yard kilt, the pleats are going to be a little bit narrower on the face and a little bit deeper. Why don't you bring yourself in for this one as well? How much better does an 8-yard kilt? For those not paying attention, how much better does an 8-yard kilt hang and swing and whatever than a 5-yard kilt?
I'm sorry, we're dealing with a technical issue. I wasn't entirely paying attention, but thank you for bringing me up to speed here.
You're quite welcome. No one knew that, Ian.
Yeah, I would say that the hang of both garments is very similar. I would say a lot of people aren't going to, if they're looking at the back of two gentlemen, one wearing an 8-yard and one wearing a 5-yard, they're not going to notice the difference in the way it hangs.
Right.
Swing is a different question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say for people who are concerned, they're in the store, they're thinking about an 8-yard kilt, but they're concerned about budget, and they're thinking, well, what is a 5-yard is it good enough? Is it as good? And I'd say, it depends on where you're going. Like, if you're going to a wedding and you're going to be the only one or one of a very small number of people in kilts there, nobody's going to notice a difference in the way it hangs.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a very stuffy event where there's lots of people in kilts and they put their nose up at anything less than an 8-yard kilt,
Then you don't want to be there.
Then they'll notice. And maybe you don't want to be there. But yeah, the swing is a little different. It's a little more desirable than an 8-yard kilt.
Yeah.
But just to stand there still, I think the only thing most people would notice, if you're even asking them to look, is that the pleats are a little wider in a 5-yard kilt. There's a little bit fewer of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it may be
Pretty much.
maybe a slight different hang on a 5-yard than an 8-yard, but not a whole lot. It's more the depth of the pleats in an 8-yard kilt allows the creases in the innermost depth and the outermost depth to be a little bit more flat, if we're going to nitpick. But 99.9% of the public will not know this.
The flat creases is a way you haven't played it quite that way before, so that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, basically, and we've said this before, the only reason an 8-yard kilt was invented in the first place was to get a more visual effect of the pleats swinging, especially on parade. It was born out of the military. Basically, if the guys are marching up the Royal Mile, you want them to look cool, then you make sure those kilts are going vroom, 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 vroom with the drums.
Vroom.
Vroom, exactly, because that's the sound. It's the fabric rubbing here gets that vroom, 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 vroom. No. So yeah, I mean, if you're concerned about not getting the good kilt because you can only afford a 5-yard, don't. It's going to be fine. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be fine.
And the amount of yardage in a kilt has evolved over time. I mean, it started as a essentially 4-yard kilt,
right.
And it moved up, and the sweet spot, so to speak, is about 8 yards for the maximum swing, a good depth, a reasonable narrow face on the pleats.
Yeah.
It's kind of evolved into that, much more than 8 yards on a standard guy or 9 yards on a little bigger guy.
Yeah.
And it starts to get too cumbersome, but a 5-yard kilt is still, a nice...
Fine.
Yeah.
Nice
quality
I will
kilt.
say, I personally do like the feel of an 8-yard kilt more than a 5-yard. I can feel, because I can feel the movement. I can feel how it's holding onto my body and everything. It just feels more solid, and I just like it better from an aesthetic experience.
Yeah.
But I like the feel of it, but I don't want to wear an 8-yard all the time, especially in the summer.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. In the summer, I tend to lean towards 5-yarders, where it's a little bit more balanced front and back. It's a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
But an 8-yard in the winter, or if you're indoors, it's fine.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Hope that helps.
Indeed.
Sorry, that was your line usually. Here, go ahead. Go ahead, say it now.
Hope that helps. Ian, anything else to add?
No, I think I got everything in there that I was going for. Do you have both a 5-yard and an 8-yard kilt? Do you have a strong preference? Share your thoughts down in the comments. And be sure to check out some of our other videos right over here.